Why Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul is genius. So we've had the face-off, and we've had the media workout, and now it's getting real. Anthony Joshua states he wants people talking about the fight. He is not concerned with the criticism. He is stating that boxing, it's not a fun sport. Indeed, boxing is like a combination of science and violence. And of course, this is entertainment. This is capitalism. And ultimately, this is boxing. Now, David Haye, that's the former heavyweight champion and the former cruiserweight champion, is actually predicting an upset. Admittedly, he can't rationally explain why, but he feels that something is in the air. Anthony Joshua, there's a development that he's been working with the Usyk team. This has been suspected for a while. One would assume this is positive, given that the Usyk team has elite pedigree. However, will that boxing system, will it hinder or will it progress Anthony Joshua? I think that is a fair question. And apparently, Joshua is praying more. Considering the mental and psychological elements of boxing, that can't be a bad thing. However, considering the nature of this fight, hopefully Jake Paul is praying too. Now, in the face-off, when I looked at the face-off from my perspective, you could see the size disparity. And I thought that was quite scary. And you wonder, as they're looking at each other, what is going through the mind? What is going through Jake Paul's mind? What is his psychology going into the final days of this fight? Now, Jake Paul, he states that he has improved footwork, improved defense, and improved in his countering abilities. And these improvements will need to be substantial to give him any chance of competing, let alone winning. He states that he is super calm. That may be a good thing. But will he be calm when that ramrod jab and thunderous right hand from Anthony Joshua is coming in his direction? Only time will tell. He states AJ has 2 left feet, indicating that Anthony Joshua has no balance. I'm assuming the purpose here is to antagonize AJ, which may not be a good thing. It may not be a good idea. So what is Anthony Joshua's motivations? Of course, money is a big motivation, but Anthony Joshua has a lot. He has a lot of money. Perhaps the real reason is strategic. Everyone in business is trying to be significant. They're trying to be a part of the algorithm. So think of this. If you dominate the algorithm, your brand grows. If your brand grows, that's more money. And what does that mean? That means more cultural impact. The combination of linking the name Jake Paul with Anthony Joshua, what does that do? Well, it gives a spike in the algorithm that is beneficial for business. And this is business. Entertainment. What is entertainment? Entertainment is partly business. Of course, Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua are already famous, but the battle for attention is real. The battle for attention is real. It's the new currency. So here's an important premise. Boxing today is not just about winning fights. It's about your brand. It's about building your brand. And your brand has a relationship to your economic worth. So for example, when Mike Tyson fought Jake Paul, this was an example of attention economics. It was an example of attention economics. You could argue that part of Jake Paul's success is due to attention economics. The cross-audience collision of Jake Paul's audience and Anthony Joshua's audience is, in a simple word, monumental. Jake Paul has around 55 million followers in total, and Anthony Joshua has, I think it's 22 to 28 million followers across all platforms. This is not just a battle of boxing. This is essentially a battle of the algorithm. So by taking this fight, Anthony Joshua, he's like hacking into Jake Paul's audience and vice versa. Remember, this is marketing. This is entertainment. This is business. If you control the algorithm, you control the money, you control the attention. In one sense, this is a business experiment. And this business experiment is based on the science of the algorithm. So from an algorithm point of view, this is a genius move. So when we say that Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua is just about the money, it doesn't paint the full picture. And it's actually grammatically incorrect, because even if it's about the money, it's not just about the money. Because to get to the money, you've got to do efficient business. And to do efficient business, you need to be part of the algorithm. And this whole thing of hacking the algorithm is so essential. And this collaboration, this Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua collaboration, is a massive algorithm hack. And that's why I call the operation genius. And you could say, is it Jake Paul that's a genius? Is it Anthony Joshua is a genius? Or is it their teams that are geniuses? The point here is that to get to the money, or the outcome of the money, the process is hacking the algorithm. And the algorithm has such a great level of control, or I mean, you can distinguish between control and influence, but it's undeniable that the algorithm has a massive influence on many of us, because many of us are connected to the digital media. Many of us are connected to the internet, and therefore we are maybe not victims of the algorithm, but our minds are influenced by the algorithm. So this collaboration is like the ultimate hack. And I think this fight as well, because when you're hacking into the algorithm, that means that this fight will have a cultural relevance. Because even if you disagree with this fight, and even if you're against this fight, you are aware of this fight. You are talking about this fight. Even if you're talking negatively about the fight, you are still talking about the fight, which means that this is, again, it's hacking the algorithm. And I think that's just an important thing to realize, is that when we say it's about the money, that's an easy statement to make, but it's about understanding that process. Does Jake Paul have a chance? Clearly, Anthony Joshua is the overwhelming favourite. He's the former two-time heavyweight champion, he's the former gold medalist, and he has the credentials in this fight. I mean, he fought Usyk, Klitschko. These are elite level fighters. But in boxing, anything can happen. But logic would say that AJ would dominate this fight. He would dominate this fight with ease. But of course, Jake Paul appears to be a committed person. He believes in himself and he wants to reach for the stars. So think of this, a confident man that is prepared. Surely that man has a chance. But is Jake Paul prepared, and is he confident? Only he knows the answer to that question. From the outside, looking in, he has a good boxing team. They will guide him by creating the appropriate boxing environment, and they will try and put together a game plan to shock the world. Think of this, any man with determination and heart and desire has a chance, even if that chance is very, very small. But this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to boost credibility. Resistance, even if unsuccessful from Jake Paul's perspective, would still boost his credibility. Now you would think Anthony Joshua would be looking to put on a boxing clinic. He cannot lose this fight because that hurts credibility and that will hurt boxing. In the end, some will say it's a genius move because they understand algorithms and they understand business. Some will say it's just for the money, and some will say this is just a gimmick. Is the algorithm hack a genius move? Well, after the fight, only time will tell if we get a genius outcome.